Okay, folks, welcome back to the second and final installment of the Kaiju film discussion that I have at BRUTAZILLA dedicated to King Kong versus Godzilla. If you're new to this video, please check the archives of my channel for the previous video. It's part one dedicated to our Kaiju discussion that I had with BRUTAZILLA to King Kong versus Godzilla. And once again, I want to thank Steve Herron, John Ruffin, and David Air.co, along with BRUTAZILLA, for your contributions to making this video possible. Both videos, rather. So thank y'all so much for contributing to this video. I really do appreciate it. And folks, sit back and relax. I hope you enjoy the second and final installment of the Kaiju film discussion I have with BRUTAZILLA dedicated to King Kong versus Godzilla. Alright, I thank y'all for listening. I appreciate it, and I will see y'all again on this figure and move review. Enjoy the commentary.
Are y'all ready? What? Yeah! Y'all ready to break the football? Just let's go! If you want it, you can get it. Let me know.
So let's go into basically where do you see this film rank in the franchise? Like, where does this film hold up for you as far as a Godzilla fan, and as far as like in the franchise?
Well, I would say it's honestly strong. I think it's a strong competitor, especially for the Showa days, because it's pretty much like Godzilla's first color movie. I mean, because the first two were black and white. This is Godzilla's first color, so we get to see what his actual color scheme is, and then what color his atomic breath is. And it pits him against one of the most famous monsters of all time, King Kong, America's monster. And it basically ranks in my top 10. I love the movie that much, and I can never get bored watching it. It's one of those movies I can watch over and over again. And I showed my buddy from work this movie because he was telling me his dad used to watch it when he was younger. And so I showed him, and he liked the movie. Like, he thought it was real fun to watch, and the fight was, he's not a Godzilla fan either, but he thought the movie was fun to watch, and the fight at the end was, just fun. It was just awesome, and I think he actually ended up buying it on Blu-ray. But yeah, I mean, I showed a non-Godzilla fan it, and he actually liked it,
Yeah.
But yeah, I would say it's a really strong thing in the Godzilla fandom, a strong movie in the Godzilla fandom, and among, I guess, movies altogether, because it's like one of the most. I mean, when you think of Godzilla's most popular movies, I mean that comes to mind. Besides like Mothra versus Godzilla and the original Godzilla, I would say that kind of comes like around then pretty much. Like it's a popular movie in the franchise.
Right, and it was the most financially successful film in the franchise, but Shin Godzilla kind of bumped that from the top spot, ironically.
That's what I heard.
Yeah. Shin Godzilla bumps it, but still, between the two, I still prefer King Kong versus Godzilla. Nothing against the Shin Godzilla fans out there, so don't be hating on me, but as far as entertaining value, I enjoy King Kong versus Godzilla. And I rank this film, it's not on my top 10 list at the time, because there are a lot more films that I enjoy more. Doesn't mean I don't enjoy King Kong vs. Godzilla, but just some things that I enjoy more with other Godzilla films, which is why not in my top 10, but it's still high up on my list. You know what I mean? And I think it was very important and very instrumental in jump-starting the Showa series. And I know a lot of people tend to look at this film as like the film where Godzilla first started fighting other monsters, but it wasn't the case, because he first fought Anguirus. That was his first opponent, but that film kind of gets overlooked and overshadowed, mainly because it was a rushed sequel to the original Godzilla. And then when they made this film, and with King Kong star power, and this film showing that Godzilla can't hang with King Kong, it made Godzilla a star. It made him a bankable commodity. And after that, that's when we started getting Godzilla films yearly after that. Mothra vs. Godzilla, Ghidorah Three-Headed Monster, those films came out in the same year. And I think it's very important to the Showa series. I think without this film, if you take this film out of the equation, if you take it out of the Godzilla film history. I think Godzilla would have been a star no matter what, but I think it would have took him longer to get there. But ironically, with King Kong in this film, and just showing that he can hang with this great star, Godzilla became a star in his own right. So I think it's very important for that reason, and it's very important for the fact that he was able to jumpstart the Showa series, which then brought about the Heisei series, which then brought the Millennium series, which then brought Legendary Godzilla, which then brought Shin Godzilla. It's a trickle-down effect, and it's brought nothing but great moments and awesomeness. You know what I mean? So would you recommend this film to a kaiju newbie?
Yeah, I would, because like I said before, my friend, he kind of he's not a Godzilla fan. He liked it though, but yes, I would recommend this to a kaiju newbie.
Okay, and I would do the same thing. And before we wrap up with our final thoughts, you say you got some questions. You want to go into the questions now?
Yes, I think we talked about some of them already in this discussion already, but because I got one here, does it have a good story? You said you didn't like the story. I kind of agree with you pretty much. It was kind of weak story to make them come together just because they wanted money, so they wanted to capture King Kong somehow and bring him back to Japan or whatever. But
right, it's just that story is just. When you think about it, it was no thought really put into it. I think Toho was just happy to have King Kong, and they just put this and they just put this film together the best way that they know how. Mind you, back then, like I said, was a different time. Nowadays, we expect more out of our movies. You know what I mean? We expect more out of our entertainment. I know I do. Especially. If they're asking us to pay $10 for a daggone movie ticket, I want to go and be entertained. And there are times where I want to be intrigued. I want to have something that has a great story. Not trying to say that every Godzilla fight scene needs a story, because sometimes every Godzilla fight scene, sometimes you want to see Godzilla just beat another monster down and just enjoy it. You know what I mean? And of course, almost every Godzilla film has a story for that. But I think a story involving these two iconic monsters should have been better. You know what I mean? But it was a simpler time, which I hope they will correct with the next film. You know what I mean? I hope they bring a good story. It's kind of hard to speculate who's going to be the villain, who's going to be the hero, or they both going to be villains. I don't know, but I know they have a good chance, because I know this film, the upcoming film, is automatically going to be compared to the original one. And the original is going to be a hard act to follow, despite how campy you think it is, despite how silly you think it is, despite how goofy you think it is still an iconic film. So they're going to have to step their game up to even to be remotely compared, to that film. So they got that work cut out for them. But I think if they get their minds right and stay true to the characters and give us a good story behind the conflict, I think it'll be a great movie. Go ahead, sir.
I was gonna say, what was I gonna say? I forgot what I was gonna say now. Oh dang. Okay, moving on. I'll go back to that if I remember it again. But I kind of talked about this a little bit, in my dislikes about how the music or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't remember if you said it or not in our discussion. Which version? Oh no, I think you did. You preferred the American version over the Japanese version.
Yes, I prefer the American version, mainly because they added the comedy element. Even the inclusion of the UN scenes doesn't really bother me. It doesn't drag down the film, because you gotta have an American there to convey to the American audience what's going on, even though the Japanese actors have been dubbed in English as well. So the back and forth scenes between the Japanese footage and the UN personnel talking, I think it was really good. You know what I mean? I think that the Japanese version, I just like the American version better. I think that also they added more sound effects, more roars in the US version. And I think that's better, because I love Godzilla's roars in this film, because it's a departure from his previous two films' roars, where they were dark, gritty roars. This time they're more higher pitch and they're more elaborate roars. Because honestly, the 62 Godzilla and the 64 Godzilla roars are like my favorite roars, with the exception of the 84 roar. I love that roar for some reason. I love the 84 roar.
Me too.
But the high-pitched 62 and 64 roars, I really do enjoy. So that's why I enjoy the Japanese version, the English version more. And more so, I grew up with the English version, you know? So I have that nostalgia factor for me. So that's why I enjoy the American version more, you know? So... I mean, it's really no different than Godzilla King of the Monsters and the original Godzilla. I hold Godzilla King of the Monsters superior to the original one. I know that's blasphemy amongst some people, because even though they kind of tell the similar story, they're still in a way kind of vastly different movies. And I know the original film is more powerful with its message and with its tone, but I think Godzilla King of the Monsters improved on some things that the Japanese version built upon. But that's a discussion for another time. But the point is, I think the American version kind of improves on the Japanese version, in my opinion. So.
I think I kind of remember what I was going to say now. How you were saying so you hope this new King Kong vs. Godzilla remake has a better story, compared to the Showa version.
Yes.
Because that's how I kind of felt about Shin Godzilla. I didn't really care for the story, and I did love Godzilla. I did love when we got to see him and everything that happened in the movie, but I just didn't really care for the story, and that kind of threw it off for me for the movie. That's why I'm not in that. That's why I kind of in a way kind of dislike Shin Godzilla. That's just my opinion, but that's why I wasn't really too enthralled with the movie. I only seen it twice in theaters, but maybe if I get another watch, maybe I'll either dislike it more or I'll like it a little bit better. I'm not sure, but I do understand the what they were trying to do, the analogies or whatever, like between how Godzilla's supposed to represent the typhoons and stuff and that,
yeah.
Like the recent tsunamis that happened in Japan,
Yeah. But
no, go ahead.
And it's like, I mean, and we're obviously on the same wavelength. I mean, we have different opinions when it comes to certain stuff, but we more or less feel the same way when it comes to our movies. Like Godzilla was a guy again, for example. That story was so simple, but yet it would take a simple story of alien cockroaches using monsters to take over the world, and Godzilla and Angus come in and beat them down, and that's it. It's a simple story, but it worked. But I'm just saying, for a film of this magnitude with Godzilla and King Kong, but also at the same time, you also have to take into consideration, King Kong was a big star, but Godzilla was still like the new kid on the block. He wasn't what he was or what he is today back then in 1962. He was just getting his own stride in. You know what I mean? So maybe that's unfair to say that that they should have treated them a little bit better. But also at the same time, they're still the most iconic monsters, and I think that even then they should have done something a little bit more, just a little bit, whatever. But they were banking on the fact that we could just throw King Kong and Godzilla together in the film, and because they were really trying to appeal to children in a way. The children. That's
what I was going to say too.
Yeah, and children back then didn't care about stories and plots. They just wanted to see King Kong and Godzilla go at it. And honestly, if that was their end goal, I think with their fight scene at the end, they delivered. So but as an adult, I look back at it now and be like, you know what, it could have been a little bit different. And that's why I'm hoping that we will have a better story for this new one. But also, it also is just such a cool nostalgic film that that it's okay that the fact that it doesn't have much of a story between their conflicts. Sometimes you want to just go back to that and enjoy the fun, campy, and just less serious take of that film. Because I think this new film is going to be more of a serious take, and sometimes you don't want to see you don't want to have every Godzilla film serious. You want to have some fun with it.
Yeah. So
I think that
you gotta have variety.
Yeah, variety. Yeah, exactly, and be diverse with it. You know what I mean? So with this new film, it could be serious, and then if it's too serious for some people's taste, all you gotta do is pop in the Blu-ray of the original one, and then you can have your fix there. So I think it's nothing but good things that's gonna come because of Kong Skull Island, because of Godzilla 2, and because of the upcoming King Kong vs. Godzilla, I think it's nothing but good things for Godzilla fans. Not to mention what Toho may bring out after the success of Shin Godzilla. It's just a great time to be a Godzilla fan. You know what I mean? So, have you got any more questions that you want to touch on before we wrap up with our final thoughts?
Yeah, I think we kind of mentioned a little tiny bit about this, but what do you think about King Kong Skull Island? I'll go first a little bit. I kind of think from the trailer we got, the new one, not the first one, but because the first one was a teaser, but the new one, I think it's going to be like, it's not going to be a remake, a total remake of the original, but even though he does look like the original Kong and the original black and white classic, but it looks like it's its own story, like its own reboot. Maybe because this King Kong is going to be 120 meters, 108 meters high for legendary Godzilla or whatever. But from the trailer we saw, I'm hoping it's going to be a good movie. I don't think it's going to it's not going to backfire or anything, but I just hope they do good with this movie and this new reboot of Kong. Peter Jackson's Kong, I love that movie. That's a great movie. That did the original King Kong justice, in my opinion. Better than the 1976 King Kong.
Oh, you're breaking my heart. You're breaking my heart.
you don't like Peter Jackson's Kong, huh?
No. Actually, I do. I enjoy it for the special effects. I enjoy it. I enjoy the fact that it's just like the 1933 King Kong. It's just made for modern times with better special effects and stuff like that. And I like how little certain twists that they did in this modern version. But I grew up on King Kong 1976. I know it's bad. I know the suit didn't look all that good in certain scenes. I know him fighting just a giant snake. I know. And then King Kong Lives was, oh my God, King Kong Lives, that is like the bane of my existence. But like you, I'm a King Kong fan too, and I have high hopes for this film. I'm just hoping that they don't do the whole normal King Kong story of like showing Kong fall in love with the girl, because that's been told so many different times. We don't need to see that anymore because we already know about King Kong and his story. I think they need to focus on making Kong a threat. So when he does challenge Godzilla, we can buy into it. You know what I mean? I think that this Kong will prove that. I want this Kong movie to be more along the lines of King Kong Escapes in a way, where they come to his island and they try to deal with them, but yet he's vile and stuff like that. That's what I'm looking forward to. And ironically, that is the film that I'm looking forward to the most next year, considering what's coming. We got Wonder Woman coming. We got the Power Rangers coming with that awful looking Megazord. Don't get me started. We got War of the Planet of the Apes. We got War of the Planet of the Apes coming, and we've got great movies.
Can't wait to see that one.
Yeah. So we got great movies coming out. But that Kong movie, also with the fact, you got the actors, a couple of actors from Straight Outta Compton, because I love that film, and they're in the film also. But I want to see this King Kong film do well. I'm sure it will. The buzz that is generated so far between the two trailers has been phenomenal. I'm looking forward to it. I really am. And like I said, I don't want to see them do the whole King Kong falling in love with the girl story. We don't need that. Whatever. We don't need, because to me that would show Kong having a weakness. And if he's going to be fighting Godzilla in a few years, this Kong needs to be an invincible opponent for Godzilla to fight, because Godzilla really beat down both those Mutos in the legendary film. So, and those creatures were not exactly normal to begin with. So I think this King Kong has to be built up. It has to be taken really, really seriously, so that when they do make King Kong vs. Godzilla in 2020 or whenever it's going to be, it'll be a knockdown, drag-out affair that we all can get behind, no matter if you're a King Kong fan or a Godzilla fan. Either way, I'm looking forward to it all.
Yeah, because I like how you said, like, how that's King Kong's weakness, falling in love with the girl, because I'm thinking every single Kong movie, that's always happened in every single King Kong movie he's ever been in.
Yeah.
Even in King Kong vs. Godzilla, it was kind of short, but it happened in that too.
Yeah, and I'm saying it's okay not to have. I mean, they kind of don't go that route in King Kong Lives, but that movie is so horrible that I'm sorry, that film just doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. It does exist, but it doesn't exist to me. That film was just so bad. I'm talking Jaws of Revenge bad. I'm talking Batman and Robin bad. I'm talking TNA bad. You know what? I'm not going to do that. King Kong Lives. No, I'm not going to do that. I ain't going to do that. I ain't going to put him in that category. Actually, I'm not going to put that film in that category of TNA. And any wrestling fans out there would get that analogy. But it's bad. So it's still bad. You know what I mean? But I have high hopes for it. I'm sure it's going to do well. I hope it does do well. And I hope, from a collecting point of view, hopefully it'll spur X Plus, since we're both avid and loyal X Plus supporters and customers. Hopefully it'll bring forth some buzz to produce some X Plus King Kong figures, whether it's the Toho ones or maybe this one, because I like the look of Kong in the trailer. I really do. I do like this look of Kong, and so hopefully we'll get some quality products as relates to the film. But I'm looking forward to it.
Yes,
I'm really in.
They're making Pacific Rim now, so I'll see why they couldn't do this one too if they got the license, you know.
That's what I've been saying ever since I saw this new trailer of Kong. That's what I've been saying. But you never know with X Plus. Sometimes X Plus can be kind of wonky sometimes, you know. So we'll just definitely see what happens. But yeah. Have you got any more questions that you want to dive into before we go into our final thoughts?
No, I think we answered all of them in the thing. We also talked about the remake, like what we're kind of hoping for, pretty much, you know, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
All right, let's go into our final thoughts. BRUTAZILLA, you have the floor. Your final thoughts of King Kong versus Godzilla. Just say wherever that comes to your mind.
Awesome. Just love the film. So many memories, so many nostalgic memories growing up watching it, and I'm just glad I finally got like the ultimate Godzilla X Plus piece to add.
Yes, you do.
I live by 62.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. You know what?
I love.
You know,
I was gonna say I love my 30-centimeter version, but I love this gigantic one even better.
You know what?
And
let me talk about that for a few seconds, ladies and gentlemen, in case you're unaware what's going on. We'll talk briefly about this, and then I'll wrap up my final thoughts. But this year, G-Fest, you know, me and BRUTAZILLA met up. This was his first G-Fest, and he was going around the dealer's room because he came prepared. You know what I mean? He came prepared. He was going to get whatever he wanted, you know what I mean? And that's what you have to do when you go to G-Fest, especially your first G-Fest or just going in general. You have to be prepared financially because there's so many things out there that you want to get and stuff like that. And there are of the expensive variety. I'm not gonna lie about that. So it's best to be financially prepared. So he's walking around the dealer's room talking about, you know, what should I get or whatever. And since I'm a huge X Plus Gigantic Series supporter, I was spurring him on to get one of two gigantic Godzilla figures. Gigantic Series Godzilla figures. And at the time, the Gigantic 1962 just came out, and the San Diego Comic-Con was about to come out also. So he was debating about which one he should get. You know what I mean? And I was like, won't you get one or the other one? I was like, either way, you can't go wrong with it. I think, if I'm mistaken, I was like, why don't you go ahead and get the 62? Because at the time, the San Diego Gigantic 95 wasn't. I think it was available, but then again, I think it was. I mean, it's kind of a gray area there. But I knew for a fact there was a couple of gigantic 62s in that room, and we went round and round. I pleaded my case to him, and he was like, you know what? Freak it. Let's go over there, and I'm gonna get myself I'm gonna go over there and get me a gigantic Rick 1962, and he did, and it was a great experience for me personally because, you know, it's just fun, and it's more personal to me that I have a great relationship with BRUTAZILLA. It's more than just Godzilla. It's more than just YouTube videos. I really have a connection with this dude. He's a great guy. He really is, and it's great to have another Godzilla fan such as yourself that you can connect with, but just also just a great person all the way around that you can connect on other things other than Godzilla. So to see him get that, and then Gojira 851, what's going on, man? If you're listening, what's up? He actually not videotape. Damn, do they say that nowadays? Damn, I'm getting old. He actually recorded, him unboxing it at G-Fest, because I wanted him to unbox it to make sure that it wasn't deformed. At the time, there were some issues with some gigantic 62s that came out, with deflated tails and hands, and he actually recorded. So it's on his YouTube channel, so check it out, and you see BRUTAZILLA's genuine reaction when he first got it and opened it up. And also when you see his G-Fest haul video, BRUTAZILLA I'm talking about now, just look on his face, and just the fact that he's so appreciative and he's just happy. And the fact that I was able to contribute to that just a little bit really does me joy, and it's one of the best experiences that I've ever had in my life. And I hope to have more with this awesome gentleman right here. So I'm sorry if I went on a tangent with that, but I just wanted just to let everybody know that I know that since you bought the figure, I know it was very exciting for you to get it. It was very special to me as well. So I don't know if I told you that before, but at the time I was going through something, but it really meant a lot to me too, to see you be that happy and ecstatic, and hopefully we'll have more moments, because we're both trying to get to G-Fest next year, and I'm sure we will.
Yep.
And so we can have more great moments. But
thank you, man. I appreciate everything you said.
No problem, man. And I thank you for being who you are, and just a great dude, and just a great YouTuber, just a great inspiration of why I got into YouTube. You weren't the reason why I got into YouTube, and I want to thank you so much for that. And then thank you for being part of this discussion. But my final thoughts of King Kong vs. Godzilla: awesome film, amazing film, fun film. It has some silly moments, but you know what? That's what gives the film its charm. It would give the film is just an everlasting appeal to generations of fans. Whatever. I know maybe kids nowadays, they are just more hooked into CGI technology with real life dinosaurs and stuff like that. May look back on this film and thumb their noses at it, and because it's cheesy looking, of having two guys in a rubber dinosaur suit and a furry gorilla suit fight it out in a miniature city. But y'all have no idea that back then, that was the best thing in the world to see. And even now, as an adult, it still holds up value. Despite its silliness and goofiness, these films hold up so well. The Showa series, as well as all the other Godzilla films, they hold up well. They will always have value. And I think this film holds tremendous value, like I said, for jump-starting, or at least creating the buzz for the Showa series that ended up giving us so many great films from the Showa series. And this film made Godzilla a star. It really did. I mean, I know the original Godzilla and Godzilla Raised Again has something to do with it, but this film really showed the world, okay, there's something with this Godzilla guy. And I think that we owe a debt of gratitude for this film, that it exists, for Godzilla being the icon that he is today. I mean, it doesn't solely contribute to Godzilla being an icon, but it certainly helped. So that pretty much wraps up our review of King Kong vs. Godzilla 1962. If you have any questions for myself or for BRUTAZILLA, just pipe down in the comments section, or hit us up both on Facebook, BRUTAZILLA, or Mark Calloway, also known as Leslie Chambers, and we'll answer any questions that you want to have. And also, I know we talked about this a long time ago, that we were going to do a Godzilla 1984 discussion. We will do that, because I know BRUTAZILLA, this is his favorite Godzilla film of all time, and I know I want to have a great discussion with him about that. We talked about it, and for those who still remember, don't lose faith. We're still going to get that together. It's just that my schedule and BRUTAZILLA's schedules are just kind of choppy at best, But we're definitely gonna get that done. If not, but by the end of the year, we'll definitely have it done at least by the first month, at least by January. We will have that discussion of Godzilla 1984 or the Return of Godzilla or Godzilla 1985. So be on the lookout for that next discussion between BRUTAZILLA and myself. BRUTAZILLA, you got any more final words before we wrap it up?
Go Godzilla. That's it.
There you go. This is catchphrase. Go Godzilla. So, and that's pretty much it. So thank y'all so much for listening to this audio discussion, audio commentary, if you will, of King Kong versus Godzilla. Do us a favor. Why don't you pop it in, pop the Blu-ray in, and have yourself a good old time with that movie, because it's just that so much fun.